Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon, Burnaby. For the last time this week, my name is Gabe Liesi. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT's The Crow. Vancouver is honoring Halloween's Irish roots with VIF's latest film festival. Our reporter Orchid Salang has more on the movies being screened.
From ancient rituals to modern traditions, Halloween has deep origins in Ireland. Samhain, Roots of Halloween, is a new series of Irish horror films being screened at the VIF this year that traces that journey and brings a piece of Ireland to Vancouver. Consulate General of Ireland, Kathy Gagan, says the films aren't just scary movies, but a map of Irish history.
I think it's really important that if you look at the series as a whole, all of those films tell together a story of Ireland from the pre-famine Ireland in the early 1800s right through to a modern, thriving and urban nation like it is today. So it's really the story of an ancient civilization emerging from the shadow of colonialism.
For Canadians with Irish heritage, which is about 15% of the country's population, the festival offers a chance to connect with centuries-old traditions, like Samhain, that shaped Halloween as we know it. Orchid Salang, BCIT News.
Halloween is approaching so rapidly, it's tomorrow night. Our digital reporter Jonah Jung spoke to Councillor Lucy Maloney about her motion to make the streets safer for trick-or-treaters.
Hopefully what council is going to direct staff to explore using the city's communication channels to discourage people from driving their cars on Halloween night.
Treat Accessibly is a Canadian organization that hosts Halloween villages for children with disabilities. It didn't take long for them to set up a Halloween village in Surrey's Newton neighborhood. Our reporter Gabrielle Ruiz spoke with the organization's co-founder.
The Halloween villages are specifically conducive to disabled children. Kids with wheelchairs and sensory problems are able to properly trick-or-treat in these villages because more accessible walkways and less overwhelming decorations are set up. Organization co-founder Rich Padula was surprised when plenty of residents in the neighborhood volunteered to help him.
All the homeowners come out after decorating their homes, after literally blowing the street of leaves in an entire neighborhood. They're not just setting up a treat station. They're preparing for all these children.
Gabrielle Rui, BCIT News.
A Richmond City councillor says a local company has been refused financing for a major project along the Fraser River. A recent court ruling granted a Vancouver Island First Nation Aboriginal title over about 750 acres of land in the area. Councillor Alexa Liu says the company owns the land in question, but its bank indicates it doesn't want to deal with new projects due to the uncertainty stemming from the case. Councillor Liu says the unnamed company is currently working with the province to get the clarity it needs to go ahead with its manufacturing facility. The BC government is collecting information from property owners, including whether they have been able to get mortgages or financing since the ruling. The head of Canada's military formally apologized today to the Canadian Armed Forces for the service's history of racial discrimination. Chief of the Defense Staff General Jenny Carignan teared up as she delivered the rare emotional speech. She vowed to improve the situation for racialized CAF members. The apology is one requirement of a final settlement signed by the Canadian Armed Forces after a class action lawsuit. The deal directed the CAF to acknowledge its history of racial discrimination. Canada is leading G7 talks in Toronto today on a critical mineral production deal. The agreement is intended to steady a supply chain that's key to producing everything from electric cars to fighter jets. University of Ottawa professor Wolfgang Alschner says Canada must lean on its mineral reserves and mining expertise to diversify the sector away from China's dominance.
Canada is in a good position, if it can deliver, to reap those benefits. And we're talking really about potentially billions of dollars. And that's the big development opportunity here.
China has majority market share of critical mineral refining and has used it as leverage in recent trade disputes. The MP overseeing Canada's foreign aid is announcing $7 million in humanitarian relief for Caribbean states hit by Hurricane Melissa. Secretary of State for International Development Randeep Sarai says life-saving aid will go to emergency response agencies and health providers. The money will also help the World Food Programme make deliveries to Jamaica. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says Canada could provide logistical support, but countries have not yet asked for it.
The request from Jamaica has been for humanitarian aid. That is what we are stepping up to provide. There has been no request for the Canadian Armed Forces at this time. We, of course, are standing ready 24/7 to assist in ways that are requested.
Ottawa has funded programs meant to help countries like Jamaica cope with natural disasters through emergency planning and logistics. Aid workers in Sudan today are concerned that only a fraction of the people fleeing an attack by the Rapid Support Forces have made it to safety. The World Health Organization warns that the paramilitary group reportedly killed 460 people in a hospital yesterday in the Darfur region. ABC News' James Longman reports people fled on foot to a town just west of El Fasher.
Satellite images seem to show bodies in the streets and bloodstains visible from space. Now, a violent civil war has been raging in Sudan since April 2023. A paramilitary group called the Rapid Response Forces has been in a bloody struggle with the country's military, and now they control large parts of Sudan. It is that group that is now laying siege to El Fasher, where 250,000 people are trapped and terrified.
The WHO has verified 285 attacks on the healthcare system in Sudan since the current conflict began some 2.5 years ago. An update now to a story from earlier today. Patrick McConnell tackles the age-old question of aliens.
Social media exploded with rumors that if the object altered course today towards Earth, it was surely piloted by extraterrestrials. The ideas followed an ex-Harvard astrophysicist appearing on Joe Rogan speculating the object's trajectory could be by design. Retired UBC astrophysicist Dr. Jamie Matthews was clear 3I is no spaceship.
So it's a comet. Now, a comet is a big snowball in space.
And Matthews would know. He spent a career looking for signs of life on exoplanets.
People ask me, do I think that there's life out there? Absolutely. I really do. I just don't believe that it's on the Earth at all.
Patrick McConnell, BCIT News.
Dictionary.com says its word of the year is 6'7". The viral term is one kids and teenagers can't stop repeating and laughing about. It's more of an inside joke that means different things to different age groups. Dictionary.com says its annual selection is a linguistic time capsule that reflects social trends and events. But the site admits that it too is a bit confused by 6'7". To a little sports now. The 2025 World Series is shifting back to TO. The Toronto Blue Jays beat the Los Angeles Dodgers last night in Game 5 by a score of 6-1. Canada's lone MLB franchise is just one win away from their first World Series title in 32 years. Blue Jays right-hander Max Scherzer says his team is ready to finish the job.
Oh, we're going to enjoy ourselves tonight, obviously, but we know, we kind of been in these situations where the series can change. We understand that. We've been there. We know what it's like. It's going to be a different environment there now back at the Rogers Center. And we just got to take care of business. We just got to go 1-0. We got to keep the same mentality and play the game that we always play.
Game 6 is scheduled for tomorrow night at 5 p.m. at the Rogers Center. The Vancouver Canucks are back in action in just under an hour and a half. They are in Missouri tonight to take on the St. Louis Blues, who are currently bottom of the Central Division. The Canucks are looking to bounce back after being shut out at home by the New York Rangers 2 nights ago. Washington Capitals sniper Alexander Ovechkin is still 1 goal away from being the first player in NHL history to hit 900 regular season tallies. He will have a chance to hit that mark tomorrow night when his Capitals face the New York Islanders. The Toronto Raptors have a day off today after falling 139-121 to the Houston Rockets last night. Kevin Durant led the Rockets offense with 31 points. Raptors all-star Scotty Barnes praised the Raptors offense but says the defense must improve.
Team's been averaging 130 points on us for the past 4 games. That's just terrible. We actually been doing really good on the offensive end, scoring the ball, getting downhill, kick out threes. We've been doing that pretty good, but It just comes down to how many stops can we get.
Toronto has now lost 4 straight to drop to 1-4 in the young NBA season. Queer athletes are finding more spaces to be themselves. BCIT reporter Keone Mo has details on the effort to allow more to participate.
Up to 84% of queer people have been called a slur while playing sports, says a study by Out on the Fields. The Gay Games is an inclusive sporting event, kind of like the Olympics, but gay, giving those that might feel out of place somewhere safe to be athletes. In a press release, they say our fundamental values of participation, personal best, and above all, inclusion means everyone is welcome to compete as they choose. Brandon C. is on an inclusive rugby team, the Vancouver Rogues. Teams like the Rogues are creating spaces like the Gay Games here in Vancouver.
I think queer sport, accepting everyone of all statures and sizes really shows that anyone can play whatever sport you want.
The next Gay Games will be in Valencia, Spain, 2026. Keone Mo, BCIT News.
I hope you enjoyed the comfortable fall day today, Burnaby. Things are going to get much wetter over the next week, including tomorrow night for Halloween. Make sure you have your umbrellas handy. The high tomorrow will be about 11 degrees. For BCIT's The Crow, I'm Gabe Liesi. Thank you for tuning in, not just today, but throughout the entire week. Thank you to all of our in-house reporters for the packages they put together. And thank you to Jeannie Lynn for producing this entire week. On behalf of Elijah Ford and myself, thank you again for watching. We hope you enjoy your weekend.
I would recommend this program for anyone that isn't sure what kind of job they want in media, because you learn everything from public relations to communications to video editing, like radio, TV. So you do get a lot of experience in all the different fields in media.